Hi kids, we're back and we're live. We're live from Guitar Quackery. You're watching the live streaming channel of Guitar Quackery, so you are watching a live stream. Well, right now you're watching a replay because I don't have an audience yet, but it is a live stream, an archived live stream, which means it's going to be slow pace. Okay, so if you prefer produced content, if you want me to just show you the highlights of whatever interesting kind of work that I do on guitars, just check out the main channel, which is called Guitar Quackery, without the word live in the title. So, two channels. This is Guitar Quackery Live. Guitar Quackery is a separate channel. You won't see any live streams on that channel, just on this one, just to be clear. Why do I have two channels? Well, because if you want to watch live streams, if you want to catch me live at work, you can do it by subscribing to this channel. But if you really don't like to watch really long videos, 2 or 3 hours long, sometimes 4 hours, then this channel isn't for you. Then in that case, it is better to subscribe to Guitar Quackery. Alright, so now I'm fiddling with my phone. Why am I doing that? Well, I'm trying to stream outside. Okay, we have a monitor and we sometimes have an audience, and that's what I'm trying to do. So, streaming live from my phone, Entryway TV it's called. Okay, now it's streaming there. People pass by, they can see me work, and then they maybe pass by the shop and they see that, wow, they were watching a live stream. It's a great experience for people here. It's also a great experience for customers. I always, well, not always, whenever I am live streaming a project, I typically send a text message to the owner of the guitar, so the customer can watch me work on their guitars or guitar in real time with a small delay, latency. All right, so now let's get to work. Like I said, we have a guitar with problems. Yeah, a few issues caused by dryness. As you can see, I am running a humidifier here. So this is humidifying the air. I have another humidifier right there. It's a different one because the heat, here I have heat pipes, it dries up the air in the winter when the heat is running. Dry air causes materials that typically hold a small amount of moisture to dry up, just like this sponge. Okay, it dried up. If I show you this sponge, I don't need to explain what happens. What happened. Now, usually people don't really understand what can happen to a guitar if it dries up. Well, you shouldn't think of it as a guitar. It's wood, really. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. The soundboard is made out of wood and on this guitar, and as you can see, there is a fracture right there. We can see another view of the fracture. In fact, I can zoom in to a close-up, just like that. It's a fracture. So what happens is the wood starts drying up, the moisture content is evaporating from the wood, and the wood itself is shrinking and shrinking. So first the soundboard will collapse, so the bridge will actually go down, and the strings might get too close to the, now the strings are loose, but the strings might get too close to the frets, and then the guitar is buzzing because the bridge is too low because the soundboard collapsed. And then if it continues to dry up, the soundboard wants to continue to shrink, but because it's glued onto the sides, it has nowhere to go after it's collapsed. And then it fractures sometimes. So we have an opening. We never want to put a feeler gauge inside of the fracture because we want to reglue it. We want to close it first and then reglue it, and we don't want to damage the little fibers. But I do want to show you that there is a gap here right under the bridge, right there. Now, I am not convinced that this is caused by dryness. I think maybe this is just a manufacturing issue. It could be perhaps a combination of both, but I tend to think it's a manufacturing issue. Now, whenever we see a bridge lift, so a glue joint that failed on top of the soundboard, we also want to make sure that we don't have the same issue on the inside. On the inside, we have braces. So in the same manner with a feeler gauge, we want to check the braces. And if I can place the feeler gauge between a brace and the inside of the soundboard, right? When I put my hand inside, then we have a problem because we have separation of the braces from the soundboard on the inside. So that's something we want to check. I'm not sure if I'm going to check it today. Right now, I just want to prep the guitar for a rehumidification. So what rehumidification is going to achieve, it's also called forced rehumidification. Basically, I'm going to bag the guitar with a wet sponge on the inside, on the bottom of the bag, and, you know, tie, I usually use a shoelace or maybe a Velcro, one of those Velcro things. I think you know what I mean. And we can hang the guitar. It's out of frame here, but I have here hangers. And I have some hangers in the storage space as well. We can hang the guitar. And it's bagged. And at the bottom of the bag, we can keep a wet sponge or maybe even 2 sponges. And we can monitor the progress. So it's something that we need to monitor every day. We do it with the strings loose. They're already loose, but I'm going to loosen them even more. And we monitor it. So first we look for closure of the gap, right? And then once the gap closes, again, the wood wants to continue to expand. It has nowhere to go because of the fact that it's glued to the sides. And what it's going to do is going to bulge up like that when it continues to expand, right? So the wood fibers between the growth rings are more porous than the growth rings, and they, in fact, just like the sponge, start absorbing moisture from the air. You can imagine if I place the sponge in, I don't know, the bathroom, and if people take showers nonstop all day long, this, you know, the bathroom will steam up and this sponge will rehumidify. Simple as that. It would take quite a few hours, obviously, but the same thing happens to the soundboard. So when there's too much moisture in the air, it's called forced rehumidification. It expands and then it lifts, okay? So certain measurements we want to keep checking are these. Like, you know, we want, now we have a little gap. So between when we project the fingerboard, the fretboard actually, onto the bridge, now we have a gap. It's actually rocking. So this is going to go up. It's going to lift because this whole soundboard is going to lift. Now, it is a Lowden guitar. It's a Substract edition, Ed Sheeran. It's actually a limited edition, okay? And I see it's a bolt-on neck. Now, I am, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not really sure if this is like a Taylor guitar with a bolt-on neck. In other words, does it have a shimming system and we alter the neck angle in order to achieve a good setup? I'm not sure that it's like that, like a Taylor would be. So I simply wrote to the company. I had some communications with someone there in the past because I was working on another Lowden guitar. And they were really nice at responding to my emails. So I know they have a good team to communicate with, technicians, right? So we don't see a lot of Lowden guitars in the United States because it's a European company, but I see them every now and then. All right, what else can we do? Well, I'm going to remove my watch because I want to examine the inside. All right. Now, to make matters a little more complicated, this is in fact a rear loading bridge. So if this was a top loading bridge, I could simply loosen the strings, and then I could simply put a capo here, or remove the bridge pins and remove the strings. The capo would be holding the strings, and then I could put my hand inside and examine the guitar on the inside. But because it's a rear loading bridge, I have no way of pulling the strings. So the only option is, in fact, to loosen the strings here. Maybe I'll loosen them a lot so that I can place my hand inside without actually removing the strings from here. So I'll try that first. Now, from a technician's business point of view, I do have a surcharge when I charge a flat, flat fees, a flat fee, or fees, when I build up an order, right? I do have a surcharge for an acoustic rear loading bridge. And that's why. Because it isn't as practical to remove the strings from the guitar. You always have to unwind them completely, sometimes remove them completely, etc. Again, since I touched on this interesting subject, why don't I explain a little bit about that? On an acoustic guitar with a top loading bridge that has bridge pins, we typically need to remove, well, on an acoustic guitar, we typically need to remove the saddle, maybe shave the saddle, adjust the saddle in order to achieve a good setup. So we also need to do this if the bridge is loaded from the back. But, sometimes it's really difficult to remove the bridge and we need to remove the strings. So in those cases, we just have some additional work that we need to do, which is to really unwind the strings, sometimes remove them completely, restring the guitar, just to be able to adjust the saddle. Okay, so again, I know some of you watching must be technicians, and if you are, welcome to the channel first. This channel is, a sharing of knowledge channel. I really welcome your feedback, comments, live chats. I'm a kind of like an open source kind of person myself. I feel that knowledge should be shared because everybody benefits from it. And there are 4 of you watching. I want to remind you that if you like it so far, there's actually a button that says like, and you can click on that. Some people left, so hopefully they didn't click the thumbs down button, right? All right. Okay, so this is good. I feel I can work with this. I am going to examine the guitar on the inside. Now you won't see anything. I'm not going to use an endoscope right now unless I have something interesting to show you. I am going to just try to fit the feeler gauge between the soundboard and the braces by feel. Well, it's an acoustic electric guitar. It's got a volume and tone here, and I can clearly feel the output jack here and the wires on the inside. No big deal. Now, right now I'm examining the bridge plate. I can see there's a tiny little gap at the back of the bridge plate. How much? Well, maybe it's a little more than I really want to see. Hold on, it's hard to tell. No, I think it's just maybe 1 or 2 millimeters at most, just in one little spot, I think. Okay, now I'm examining this brace here. There's an X brace pattern, I'm sure, yeah. So this takes a minute. I'm looking right now at the wood grain here, and I need to examine this. It appears that there actually could be another hairline fracture right here. So there's one here. I'm not sure if this is another one. The guitar was damaged 2 days ago by dryness. It came to the shop last night. I already started the rehumidification process, but more of a gentle one. So I have a humidity control vault where I keep the guitars, and we put a sponge humidifier here, and then I placed it in that humidity controlled environment. But that's not going to do it. We need to do force rehumidification in order to really. Okay, so I'm not finding any separation. So this is what I was looking for, right? And maybe just a little bit on the back of the bridge plate. So no big deal. What I want to do now is I want to do some prep work for the, well, I'm going to have to build a clamping call. Why don't I show one example from another project? I have here some these strips, which are called cleats. TJ Thompson, phenomenal repair, legendary repair technician. TJ Thompson invented this cleaning system. And here, this is what we're going to use to eventually repair this guitar. So this is now on a playlist. You're watching part 1. This is a live stream you're watching now. There's 6 of you watching. Click the thumbs up if you like it, please. Thank you. Yeah, because, you might forget. Huh? Live stream. Okay. There. Okay. Here. This is the cleaning system. Okay. I no longer use those little cleats for these kind of fractures. I use these cleats. TJ Thompson. Okay. So they are, these are spruce. And as you can see, the wood grain is going in this direction at a 30 to 40 degree angle, something like that. So that's going to cross this grain, which is going in this direction, okay, to reinforce it. Obviously, this is going to be on the inside, after we close the gap. I did notice something that, you know, this is these two are new. I just bought them from StewMac, and these are leftovers from some other jobs. As you can see, the new ones are kind of a little bit flat on top. That's the new one. That's the old one, an old leftover, right? So I wrote to StewMac, and they told me that all the new ones are like this now, and that they were going to check with the manufacturer, and it is my understanding that TJ Thompson makes them by hand himself. So I guess they're going to check with him to see if this is the new standard. I don't know. I will keep you posted. So, you know, you can follow this playlist, and then we'll talk about it. I'll tell you everything. So here are two examples I want to show you of these clamping calls. To clamp the clamping calls, I'm going to use brace clamps. They're similar to bridge clamps, not the same. They're very long. This is one of them. Okay, this is another one. Different lengths. You can also use sometimes a longer bridge clamp like this one. Okay, this one would be a bridge clamp for the for a classical guitar, for a nylon string guitar, and this is a bridge clamp for an acoustic guitar. So let's go over this a little bit. So bridge clamp goes through the sound hole. They're actually called sound hole clamps, right? And this one would end up clamping the bridge. Nylon string guitars have the bridge a little bit further back, so this would be an appropriate clamp, sound hole clamp for a nylon string guitar, because it would reach the bridge here, okay? But as you can see, it can also be used to clamp something behind the bridge on a steel string guitar, and I might actually use it. And then you have these two. This is the really long one, okay, which can clamp all the way at the back. It can clamp diagonally. And then there's this one as well. And don't ask me how many inches they are. I keep forgetting. I just, you know, use whatever is the right size at the time when I need to use it. And I don't really know what size they are. But that's a StewMac product. I'm not affiliated with StewMac. I like many of their tools and products. But, you know, like anything else, you know, perhaps some of the tools I don't like too much. And it's the same with Music Nomad. That's another company that makes this, Music Nomad. Same thing, you know. I got some tools that I really like from Music Nomad and some that not so much. Okay. Now let's talk about the clamping calls. And the best way to show you is this way, which is what I'm about to do. And I know that you are waiting in restless anticipation, so I won't keep you waiting for too long. And here it is. So ironically, this pair of clamping calls was made for the same customer that owns this guitar. And we have another playlist. It's the Ed Sheeran Martin little mini guitar. Okay, I had to do the same repair. Okay, but I made these for that little Martin guitar. Okay, as you can see, they are short, and these are magnets. So how does this work? As you can see, this has a channel. So this is where you put that cleat, and that's going to go on the inside. But you put this on the outside first, and then the magnets are going to find the exact position, but on the outside you can see exactly where you're placing, where you're going to be placing the cleat, right? So you can see through. There's a center line. You can align it exactly with a fracture, and then you maneuver on the inside and find this position, and that's it. Now, this was made for the little Martin guitar, which had no braces crossing the fracture. It was also a shorter guitar, right? It was a small body guitar. This one is a larger guitar than that little Martin, so we're going to need longer calls. Also, typically, guitars actually have a soundboard that isn't completely flat. I'm not sure what the contour of the soundboard will be once it's rehumidified and puffed up, but the cleats that I would use for a so-called flat top guitar that has a little bit of a curve, which is by design, by the way, would be this kind of cleat. I also made, not cleat, caul, which I also made. As you can see, this is flexible. Now, this is based also on the T.J. Thompson thing, but my innovation is this thing to make it so that it's flexible. When you buy from Stumac, they come pretty much like this. That's the outside caul. On the inside, there's this caul. As you can see, this one has some cutouts, and these cutouts are basically going around the braces. And now we need to use these three segments. This was made for another guitar, to place those strips, the cleats here, then put some glue on top, and then come from the inside. Is this the right way? No, it isn't. Okay, like that. And then like that, okay? In this case, okay? So usually I can reuse this one, and I need to make a fresh one for each guitar for the inside, okay? And this one is also flexible. And now, how do you know where to do these cutouts for the braces? Well, the braces are crossing here, and now we want to find exactly where the braces are. We want to map it out. So this is what we're going to do now. I'm simply going to use a piece of paper. I like to recycle and reuse, so I got a whole bunch of paper here. And let's see. Let's use something nice because we are, in fact, on YouTube. Oh, look at that. I got 11 viewers. Okay, so some people joined. We're doing something very interesting. This is going to be interesting, what I'm about to do. I've done it before on live streams. So for those of you who just joined, this is, in fact, a live stream, if you're watching this live. Okay, so this paper will look good on camera. It's not white. It's a little bit off-white. That's it. I am just going to place the paper here, and maybe I should cut out this part of the paper, just like that. I'm just tracing it. Maybe a little bit more, huh? I'm tracing the bridge, the back end of the bridge. Okay, and I'm going to cut it out. I think I can do a little better. Let's see. This is, as you can see, this is not difficult. It's easy to do. I'm not really sure that it shows up on camera, that it shows well on camera, but I'm just going to cut it now. I do have scissors here. And here we go. All right. It is going to take me a minute to cut it. I think it goes this way, actually, right? Like that. It doesn't have to be 100% precise. We just want to be able to kind of go around the bridge. and we're going to map out the internal braces right on this piece of paper. And then we are going to use this map to make the internal clamping call with the two cutouts for the, whatchamacallit, braces. Okay, so this goes here, and now we can just tape it down. I kind of don't like this. I prefer when it's snug against the bridge. So why don't I do this, and now remove some more from the back. Or is this the front? I don't know. It's the back of the bridge, but the front of the paper. I do this every time I do a soundboard fracture repair. So yeah, I have done it before. And I've already published some videos of me doing this, okay? There are, I believe, 2 live streams. I haven't been streaming for a long time. This channel is a new channel. I started streaming, I thought it was in August 2024, but it was actually in July 2024. So that's when I started streaming. The first live streams were only for my customers, private. I changed the status of some of them that were private to public, okay? But yeah, so now I pretty much stream for the public. Okay, so now how are we going to trace this? Well, magnets, okay? So these are magnets. One goes on the inside, and the other one goes on the outside. There you go. So now I'm moving this magnet, and I am moving it against a brace. Now, the reason, even if the fracture is just here, the reason why I'm going from here to there is because I want to connect the dots with a ruler, right? Then I have a more accurate position of this brace. So I want to go all the way as far as I can reach with my hand, all the way to here. Now that's this, so the brace is on this side. So now I need to move to the other side, and that's going to trace the other edge, the other side of the brace, okay? I have the output jack right here, so that's kind of in my way. And now this is here. I have another brace here. That's the X brace. It's kind of irrelevant, but there, why not? Okay, and then I have another brace here. Okay. All the way to here. And same thing, then we hop over. Oh, I lost the other magnet. Okay. Not a big deal. Here it is. Okay. So from here all the way, I can even move this and just kind of feel where the internal magnet is going, because I'm unable to reach all the way with my hand on the inside. Okay. So this is crossing our fracture. Now, this fracture is here. Okay, and why don't I make a little check mark here? Okay, that's it. Let's see what we got so far. We have a dotted line here. I'm going to make a dotted line for the fracture. not dash dot, whatever you call that line, okay. Dotted line would take too long. Okay, that's our fracture. Now we connect these points. That's one brace. And here we have another brace. Like that. Now, we also need to, I like to do this, okay? Some other important points. I gotta check that if there's another brace here. Yeah, there is. So it starts here, goes across like that, and once again move the magnet to the other side. So I think this is pretty interesting to watch on YouTube. And here now I'm tracing the bridge plate. It goes here and then it curves like that. Look at that. And we want to kind of go on the other side of this brace. So that's how it is. Okay, so let's connect the dots. I move the magnets away because this is actually also magnetic. So I don't want it to pull the magnets. This is it. And here we have the other side of the brace. And now I'm connecting the two dots for the bridge plate. So as you can see, now if let's move this a little bit. In fact, why don't I move this camera up? Since we are streaming, might as well show some of these details. All right, let's put the magnet back inside. Here it is, right? And you can see that I am moving the magnet, and it gets stuck in this corner, right? But then it goes this way and down this way. Now this is irrelevant here for our purposes. So we just check here that this is all clear, like that. We do have an end block here. Should have an end block. So this is the center line of the guitar around here. It's going to hit something there, right there. Okay. I got to move it on the outside now. Here. Okay. Again, the fracture is here. Now we want to hop over to the other side of that brace and see if we hit anything here. So I seem to be hitting something here. That's as far as it's going to go. I'm just going to estimate, you know, kind of, this is the end block probably around here. That's really all that matters. So when we are making this, I think it's going to show better on camera if I do this. Okay. This is just for your benefit. I don't really need these shaded areas. Okay, so it shows better on camera. This is now mapped out. As you can see, this was made for another guitar. It bears no resemblance to this situation. I will be able to reuse this for the outside call. I'm going to have to make an inside call. Yeah, so we have 1, 2, and a little segment here for the cleats. And I'm not really sure that I'm going to use a Thompson cleat here. I might use, or maybe, I don't really know. But just to repeat, for those of you who just joined the live stream, these are the cleats. Here's a close-up, and that's going to be glued onto the inside to repair the fracture, the soundboard fracture here. Okay, that's caused by dryness. So now we mapped out this. I want to make sure that I always put it back in the same position. So here I'm going to use these two corners of the bridge. And that's it. Now I can remove this tape. By the way, this is a non-stick tape. The only tape you should use on this kind of finish. I have I have this kind of tape from 3 different manufacturers, and one of them isn't good. So I'm going to put some links in the description. Oh, look at that, 16 viewers. Make sure you click like if you like it. I'm going to put a link to this tape in the description. It's going to be an Amazon, or links actually. 2 of them are good, the 3rd one isn't. So you can buy this tape. It isn't expensive. And sometimes I use the same tape to tape off a fingerboard, depending on the situation, obviously. All right, that's it. We have this. I have a fabrication shop in Brooklyn. This is in Manhattan. In my fabrication shop, I do not have a setup with a camera, so unfortunately I won't be able to live stream the making of this clamping call. Right? This would be very interesting, but unfortunately for now I don't have a streaming setup there. So now I am going to prep the guitar for rehumidification. I'm not going to really show it on camera. I did explain it at the beginning of this live stream. So let me explain it again, because now I have an audience. Basically what I do is, well, there's a guitar being rehumidified here. Maybe I can just show you. This guitar that's being rehumidified here is not a customer's guitar. It's a project guitar that I just don't have time to do. It needs something here, something like this. Okay. And here there's a wet sponge, and this is now keeping this guitar safe, right? But on this guitar I'm going to do something similar, but the sponge is going to be more saturated, and but not dripping, okay? And it's going to be bagged. It's going to go on one of those hangers, or maybe actually in the back, better, right? I have a storage area, obviously. The storage area is completely humidity control, and it's smaller than this. This is open space. This is difficult to keep, you know, at the right level, obviously. But the storage where I actually keep the guitars, the customer guitars, is pretty small, so it's easier to control. So and I have hangers there as well. So I'm going to use one of the hangers there, and this is probably how I'm going to humidify this guitar. There are other methods. One of them might be, hold on. Okay, I can't find it now. I guess it's, yeah, okay. Let me briefly explain. You can use one of those and have a bag with holes and a sponge, and you can put it here. Now, why am I not doing this with this guitar? Well, first of all, this is a smaller sound hole because it's a smaller body guitar, and also it's got these volume and tone control controls. All right, so this would not work. So I need to use whichever method works with the guitar that I'm repairing. Okay, kids, hopefully I wasn't too boring today. I see that I do have two little comments. So Jason here, Jeremiah says, learning, I have an acoustic with a split down the center like this. Is it the glue joint? Like right at the glue joint? Thanks for showing us how to fix it. Well, this is what this is all about. I share the knowledge so others can benefit. And if you like this type of knowledge sharing, support this channel by clicking the like button so that YouTube can bump it up and so that I can keep streaming in the future, etc. And if you really liked it, you can actually click the link that says buy me a coffee. Like, you know, if I was showing you this in person, you might say, hey, can I buy you a coffee? You show me how to do this. And I would probably accept. So if you want to buy me a coffee, you can do that. If you don't want to buy me a coffee, don't worry about it. We're still friends. So Shauna Jones, or should I say Dr. Jones, says, this is great content. Good job, sir. You can call me doctor. Thank you. Keep it up. Yeah, I'll try. And, Carpethus is back. Says cheers. Cheers to you. And you, I don't know how much you were able to watch of this live stream, but, you know, obviously you can watch the replay. Like I said, I'm going to put some links. Links to what? To the tape that I'm using, and nothing else really in this live stream. Yeah, maybe the Thompson cleats. Okay, maybe that as well. Okay, kids. Why don't I put this away? Like I said, I'm going to bag it. I need at least 20 minutes to just kind of, you know, take a break, mental break, and to do this. And then I'll be back. I think I'm going to put a bass 6 on the workbench. Okay, how about that? If you have any questions. Dr. Jones says, good job. Thank you, Doctor. Yeah, if you have any further questions, please feel free to use the comment section. And yeah, let's talk soon. Thank you very much. Bye.